Not everybody wants to just quit their 9 to 5 and go all in on their coaching business right away. I'm Zander, CEO and founder of High Impact Coaching, and today I want to talk to you about how to build a 6-figure coaching business on the side. And really, there's 3 steps to doing it. But before I go into those 3 steps, I want to tell you a little story about one of our clients, Josiah. See, Josiah was in a 9 to 5 making about $10K a month. He supported his family of 2 kids, 2 boys, and his wife. And truthfully, when you have that kind of responsibility, you can't just quit your job and go all in on your dreams. You got to take care of the people around you, right? So a lot of us know that when you have that kind of responsibility, you want to be able to build a coaching business on the side so that eventually you can eject and leave. Now, Josiah was a Navy SEAL, so he's no stranger to doing things that scared him. But this scared him. So I want to dig into the 3 steps that you really need to focus on in order to build your coaching business on the side so you can get to the point where you can leave the 9 to 5, go all in on your passion, and finally live the dream while supporting your family and never having to put them at risk. So the first thing that you need to do, number 1, is you need to set a clear goal and end date. Most people just decide that they want to do a coaching business on the side, and if eventually it gets good enough, they'll quit their 9 to 5 and they'll go all in for it. Well, the problem is you can't steal second base with one of your feet still on first. Think about it. If you're sitting on one side of the pool and you're holding on to one ledge, you can't swim to the other. So you need to make it very clear that at some point, your goal is to get to second base, or your goal is to get to the other side of the pool. You have to establish a clear goal and an end date for when you're going to get there. Otherwise, you're just going to sit in your comfort zone and you're never going to take enough action to really get there. So step number 1, set a clear goal, set an end date, and get yourself mobile. Number 2, you're going to have to set really strong boundaries with your family and the people that you care about. The truth is, when you're building a business on the side of a 9 to 5, it's going to take work. Building a coaching business is not easy. I don't care what all the influencers out there on social media say, and they say, make 6 figures in 4 weeks, make 7 figures in 3 weeks, make $1 billion in 17 minutes. It's not true. Building a successful, sustainable coaching business takes work and it takes effort, and you're going to have to put the time in one way or another. So if you're doing it while you're in a 9 to 5, you're going to have to put it on the side, and that means you are going to have a portion of your life where you're not going to have as much time for your family or fun or taking time off on the weekends. But that's okay for a short period of time. Now, we did this with Josiah. So when Josiah started working with us, he told us that he wasn't ready to quit his 9 to 5 because he didn't want to put his family at risk. And I said, great, but that means for the next 2 to 3 months, you're going to have to work your ass off. And I want you to go set really strong boundaries with your family. And I want you to have an open and honest conversation with them. I want you to go to them and say, hey, babe, these next 2 to 3 months, I'm going to have to work a lot. I'm going to have to work harder than I normally do. I already work 40 hours here, but I'm going to have to work an extra 10 to 15 hours over here, which means sometimes there's going to be late nights, which means sometimes, I'm going to have to work a little bit on the weekends to make sure that I get the momentum to move this forward so that eventually I can have as much money or more in my coaching business so that I can leave the 9 to 5 and still support everybody. And he had to go tell his kids, hey guys, the next 2 to 3 months are going to be, I'm going to have to work a lot, but I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it so that after these 2 or 3 months, I can be there for all of your baseball games. I can be there for all of your recitals. I can be there for everything that you need me for. And I can have that freedom and that ownership over my life. Now, it's a tough conversation to have, but you have to have it, because if you don't set those boundaries, you're going to end up in a situation where you're trying to get work done and your family's upset at you for working too hard for these 2 to 3 months, but you got to realize it's 2 to 3 months to give them the rest of their lives. So you set strong boundaries, number 2, and this will help you do the things that you need to do, the tough things that you need to do in those short 2 months to really get up and running. Now, once we did this with Josiah, he had his goal set, 3 months. He had his boundaries set, right? Talk to his family. Number 3, after we worked with Josiah for 2 to 3 months, we got him generating consistent leads. We got him enrolling clients at 2 to 3K. He got his business up to 12K a month, 2 months in a row. And he told us as soon as he makes 10K a month, 2 months in a row, he's going to be ready to pull the cord. Which gets to number 3, pull the cord. This is the hardest part of building a full-time coaching business while you're doing it on the side. At some point, You're gonna have to pull your ripcord. You're gonna have to eject from the safety net that is your 9 to 5. And that's scary for a lot of people. We may have these mindsets, these beliefs that once we get there that, the other shoe's gonna drop or it's not gonna be permanent. Something's gonna happen, the whole thing's gonna crumble. I see this all the time. We've worked with hundreds of coaches. And the problem is when we help them start making money in 2 to 3 months that they could have never made otherwise, their bank account goes up, but their mindset is still in the trailer park. They're still in scarcity mode. But at some point, you gotta pull that ripcord. You gotta eject and you gotta go all in. Because as soon as you do, I had this conversation with Josiah. I said, Josiah, you've been able to make 12K 2 months in a row, working 15 hours a week, on the side, half drained. What happens when you pull out of your 9 to 5 and you can go all in on this and spend 40 hours a week? And you have time to be with your family again, so you're energized and refocused and re-driven and committed to what you do. But just like we talked about, Josiah was a Navy SEAL. He traveled to all parts of the world. He'd been on operations that if he'd gotten caught, could have started World War III. He'd been in the line of fire more times than he could count. But pulling that ripcord, he said, was one of the scariest things he'd ever had to do in his life. But once he did, once he pulled that ripcord, once he called his boss and he said, I'm done. I have to move forward on my dreams, on my passion. It was the most freeing and most terrifying thing he'd ever done. But in the end, the most fulfilling thing he'd ever done. So I want you to remember, if you're building your coaching business on the side, you need 3 things to make sure that you're gonna get there. Number 1, you have to make sure concretely that you have a goal and a set end date. Number 2, you need to set strong boundaries with the people around you because it's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take you getting out of your comfort zone. It's gonna take you putting some extra energy, some extra into this, at least for a short amount of time. And then number 3, when the time is right, you gotta hit the ripcord and you gotta eject. So remember, you didn't sign up for easy, you signed up for impact.